so sometimes it takes more than a day to complete a content or complete a video, depending on how busy I am. But this is day 2. You see why you have to help me. Please guys, always share my videos, drop a beautiful comment, like, and also subscribe. So we've gotten to the stage of making the 6 cavity inches and then 2 cupcakes. The next thing that we are going to do is to make the base in which this is going to sit in, after which we now make the cover of the boss. This up, pick up our ruler and then take the measurement of what the length is. You know, before it was 15, so after making it's going to reduce. So you're going to pick up your ruler and measure what you have after you must have done this insert. You're going to measure from here to here, and then turn and also measure the width from here to here. Then from there you can now know what the base will look like. So after which you're going to decide what you want the height of the boss to be. For instance, if the 6 inches cake is going to be 5 inches, there's no how the base of the boss to be 3. So the height of the boss is going to be dependent on how high or how low the bigger cake is going to be. For instance, Bento cakes, they might just be 4 or 5 inches high. So, or you can, or yeah, maybe 4 or 5 or 4.5. So you can just leave the height at mass 5 inches, or you can just do 6. I think 6 is a bit higher, so you can just do 5 inches or 5.5. But in today's video we'll be doing 5 inches. So if you want yours to be higher, you just increase it. So let's take measurement for this. So after measuring this, you know, it was 15. No, this was 15 before. So if you remove this 1 inch, 15 minus 1, that will give us 14. Remove 1 inch again here, that will give us 13. So that means this length is going to be 13 inches. Then you're going to turn to this and also pick up your ruler and take measurement of what the width is from 0 to where you have this. So from 0 to this, we have 7 inches. Remember, it was 9. So if from here to here is 7, that means this other 1 inch and 1 inch, that is 9. This other 1 inch removed by the side out, just simply this height where it will use in sitting pretty well inside the bigger boss. So that means after making the boss, we are now left with 13 inches. That's the length. We are now left with the length being 13 inches and then the width being 7 inches. So we'll still go with the formula again, but now it's going to be a bit different, not longer, so long like the first one. Now we're going to go with this F1 and F2. It's now going to be the height of the boss plus the length of the boss plus the height of the boss. F2 is going to be the height of the boss plus the width of the boss plus the height of the boss. So just substitute the equation. Now, if you want your own height to be 5 inches, you're going to put 5 here. If you want your own height to be 6, you put 6 here. You want it to be 10, you want it to be 100, you want it to be nothing, you still leave here to be blank. But for today's tutorial, I'll be making ours 5. So that means we have here to be 5 plus the length is 13 plus another 5. So that will be 5 plus 5 will give us 10 plus 13, that will be 23. So the height here, you still use 5 plus the width is 7 plus another height which is 5. 5 plus 5, 10 plus 7, that will give us 17. Okay, but you have to be super careful. Now, if you measure out exactly this 23 by 17, you're going to find it very difficult for this to fit in because it's going to be tight. So it won't fit in exactly. So what I usually do is, to whichever number that I get, I'm going to be adding extra 5 lines, 5 black lines on my ruler. So if I've measured and I've gotten to 13, now please again, 5 lines is not in any way 0.5. I never said 0.5, I said 5 lines. So for instance, if on my ruler This is 23. You just check, you see other tiny lines like this. You see other tiny lines like this. So you just count 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is what I mean by 5 lines. I did not say 0.5. 0.5 would be too wide, thus making the box a bit wobbling. So just 5 lines. So that means in total we'll be measuring out 23 inches and 5 lines by 17 inches and 5. Now the 5 lines I'm talking about is this other space here. Now let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I added extra. Let me check if it's aligned. Okay, it's not aligning from this end. Sorry. Okay, so the 23 is supposed to be a bit after here. Now let's count. 1, 2, 3, 1. Sorry, this is 23. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the mark for 23, and then here is now the 5 extra lines. Just count the marks on your ruler. Look at this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From here to here is 0.5. That is not what I want. What we want is just 5. So that 5 lines will be added to where you have 13, and then the 5 lines at the other side. So from this end, I'm just going to place my ruler like this. Now this paper has 2 sides, the rough side and then the smooth side. The rough side is where you always score. The super smooth side, don't score on it. The smooth side is this other back side, it's shiny. Then the rough side is not shiny. That's where you always score. On the part that is not shiny, that is where you always score. But the smooth side is at the back. Don't score on it. So I'm just going to place my ruler like this. And then score on where I have 5 inches. I'll then adjust my ruler from where I have scored so that I can score 13 and 5 lines. Remember, I said that extra 5 lines will be added directly after where you have 13. So you're just going to adjust your ruler. Here is 13. I'll just count out the 5 lines, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I scored there. Now if you measured very well from here, from where you scored that 13 and 5 lines to this other side, the remaining part of the paper will be 5. So exactly 5 inches, exactly what you have done to the upside. You're going to adjust your paper too, and also do the same thing for this lower side. Then when you are through, you're going to draw a line to connect from where you have made the mark up here now to the one that you have down here. So let me quickly do the down one. I'm just going to adjust my ruler from where I have 0 inch to where I have 5 inches, and then I will score on the 5 inches. Then from 5 inches, I'm going to adjust my ruler and then score on where I have 13 and 5 lines. So here is 13. I'll just count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll score there. So when I'm through, I'm going to draw a straight line to connect the dots that I have up to the one that I have down. When I'm through, I'll then work on the shorter part or on the breadth part of the box with my F2. Give me a line like this to connect this. So if you've done yours properly, you're going to have something that looks like this too. When you are through, you're going to turn your paper to this side and do exactly the same thing too. So you're going to score on where you have 5 inches. This is for F2 formula, 5 inches. And then the next thing you're going to score now is 7 and 5 lines. So you just adjust your ruler again. Adjust your ruler. From here to here is 7. Then you count the 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 lines. Then from here to here is 5. You do the same thing for the other parts. 5 inches, 7 and 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you draw a straight line to connect all the dots that you have made. So I'm going to draw a line like this, turn to the other side to do the same thing. And then we are good to go. So when you are done, the next thing you are going to do is just going to carefully fold on, all the lines to just make it flexible. You can see what I'm doing. You just fold it this way. Note, if you're going to sell these buses, you don't have to use pencil. I'm just using pencil because it's a class. So what I usually do, you can also check out my Instagram page on Unique Transparent Buses. That's my business page. What I usually use in scoring mine is I use a nail. You can look out for a nail that is blunt, that the tip is blunt. But if you're using a sharp one, you just have to be very careful so that you don't overscore and that will crack or tear up your paper. So you just fold. You can see the way I'm folding. You just fold it the same way that I just folded mine. So here I'm using a craft knife. With the end of my craft knife, we're just going to cut here open, only on the 5 inches. Please don't enter the longer parts of your paper. When you cut it open, you have this. You're going to flex it to this side, and you do this you cut the same way for the other side too. Flex it down, then come to the other end and also do the same thing too. Cut it open, and you have this. So at this point, if it's just like a sharp bus you want to make, you want to use for your brand, you can just decide to use a stapler to just hold this together. But if you're going to sell the bus, you can just do this other formula. This is actually my paid class, but since I'm already in the sharing mode, let's just continue. So when you have this, you're just going to flex this middle part inside, flex it in like this, and then pick up your ruler. You can decide to measure, but because I'm already used to it, so I just eyeball my own. I'm going to place this in the middle like this, and then you cut through. We just want to cut these 2 flaps into 2. Cut it into 2 like this. Please, on no account should you touch this middle one. Do not touch it for any reason. You're only cutting this short flap, the 5 inches by the 2 wings. That's on the long side. Don't touch this short side. So when you've done that, you're going to turn to the other side and also repeat what you have done to this other side. Repeat it to this other side too. So just cut this into 2 equal halves. So as a beginner, you can just decide to measure your own. If you want to score at 3, you want to score at 2.5, you are good. Free to do that. So I'm just going to cut this into, and then I have this. Now I'm supposed to make use of a nail, but I don't have one handy. You're just going to pick this now. Make sure it sits or laps pretty well, just like this. You can see what I have. You can see what I have, right? So make sure is well aligned like this. Look at my own now is. So if you have a nail, you can just use a nail just to poke a hole in such a way that it's going to pass through this part of the paper and also pass through this part of the paper. So I'm just going to, I don't have a nail at hand now, so I'm just going to make use of my craft knife. Make sure you hold this very firm, that it doesn't move or shift as you're trying to do this. Now I'm just going to poke a hole. I'm just going to poke a hole here, making sure that it cuts or pierces through the 2 parts of the paper. Then on where I have my hand to, I'll bring my hand down to and repeat the same thing. So this will be done on the 4 parts of the bus. So when you've done that, if you carefully look at it, you will see there is a hole here, and also a hole here and here, or a mark, anyone you want to call it. So this will be done on the 4 parts of the paper. So I'm not going to do it from inside because it's more comfortable because of my position. Let's cut it open like this. turn to this other side and also repeat the same thing. So I just tried doing it from here, but it's not going to be so comfortable, so I'll just drop it this way and then repeat the same process. But you can also see my craft knife coming out to the other side. So but I prefer using a nail to do this. For all the boxes that I sell, I prefer using a nail. A nail will just pass through. You can also use a needle, or you can use a protractor for this. So, and then you have this. Now you're going to flap this middle side down. Just flap it down, let it remain flat while you work on these two short flaps.